Greetings and salutations, YouTube. I actually didn't plan on making a video this morning, but I just woke up not too long ago. I have work soon with Good Sense, so I'll be doing that. But I just got done watching DeFranco's video in response to PewDiePie's video about fake positivity channels. And I'll be honest, I didn't hear anything about it until this morning, but I saw DeFranco's video, watched it, and that might even be a couple days old. I'm not the best at like keeping right up with my feed, but I saw that and it struck me interesting. And I mean, like, I try to be a positive person, and I think Felix's analyzation of this topic might have been a little skewed, because it's kind of a cultural thing. The whole positivity thing is, and I know, like, here in America we prefer happier endings, and across the pond they prefer sadder endings, where some places they prefer angry, evil endings, and like it just kind of depends on culture. So here in America you're going to find a lot of that whole happily ever after stuff, because that's what we like, and that's what's proven to be marketable, as they say. But it's not even that so much. I mean, going through life, you can, as I've said before, you can choose to focus on whatever you want, be that negative or positive. The kicker, though, is the people around you will also start to focus on those sorts of things, or they won't. But for the most part, they will, because people are impressionable, and man, there are lots of noises right now. People are impressionable. And, wow, lost my train of thought. There's some noise downstairs, and every time it rains, there's like a drip behind the wall. And I hope you guys can't hear that, but you probably can. God. Anyway, people are impressionable, and moods are contagious. I think that's what I was going to say. But yeah, like, they genuinely are. And so I like to be positive, and I want to be positive. I want to have a positive life, and I want to have a positive experience for the most part. Now, I understand, in order to even achieve that, I'm guaranteed to experience some negative, and I accept that as, you know, part of the terms and conditions. Whether or not I read them, or whether or not I actually realize what's going to happen, I agreed to those terms and conditions, so to speak. And the other thing also is people who feel depressed, people who have been depressed, people who've been stressed out and anxious, you have a bigger, I guess I have to move my hands, you have a bigger spectrum of emotion. Your lows are super low, and yeah, that can be a burden, yeah, that sucks, but consequently your highs are just as drastically high. Like, people who feel depressed oftentimes feel happier when they're happy than people who've never been depressed, because they have a smaller spectrum. Their emotions are just less intense. You can't turn some things off or some things down and other things up. It's all one continuum or spectrum. So, like, you got what you got. And the thing about SSRIs and like anti-anxieties and antidepressants, they do help, yes, but the biggest part of the help that you can give yourself in those situations is your own mental help. Because what those SSRIs do, a lot of them, they shrink that spectrum, which for some people is a preferred way of life. And if that's your preferred way of life, absolutely, take that. If you found yourself happy, and, you know, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you are happy where you are, if you are content where you are, there is no reason you should change or stray from that. But if you're not, and you are on SSRIs, consider, you know, really working on you for a little bit, still on them, and then maybe getting off them if you miss how intense your emotions used to be, because that was something I experienced with them, and I didn't enjoy it as much. I mean, I enjoy being this crazy, nutty, spastic, happy dude. I didn't always used to be this way. I mean, I used to be super sad all the time, and super, super angry, but I'm not anymore. So, you know, things change. And also about fake positivity, what's the worst thing that could happen? I mean, I understand how, I guess, marketing off of the whole aspect of positivity and stuff like that could seem morally gray, or, you know, maybe a little dirty. if you're doing that. But if you're not, what you're really all you're doing is, whether or not it's genuine from you, the people it inspires to be positive, that probably won't be disingenuous. So the way I figure, there are worse problems. I mean, I don't like when people lie to me, but if some dude's lying to me pretending to be happy, and he in turn makes me happy and feel happier about my life, has anything wrong really happened? I don't think so. I think there are worse things. I mean, I guess something wrong technically has happened, but clever people will see it to not, and know it to not be real. And people who don't see that will probably only walk away feeling positive. And I think there's plenty of negative in the world provided, negative included. But there's not a whole lot of positive. That's kind of on us. We have to, I mean, there is positives around that you can just find, but a very finite number. And with so many of us flawed creatures walking around doing stuff, there's a fair amount of negative that we create as well as that just occurs. And I think if we were any sort of intelligent, we would see that and work hard to get some positive out there. And that's pretty much all I'm trying to do. I just want to blaze a positive trail. Not because my life is great. I feel like I've talked about how my life hasn't been, in some aspects, that it has been rough. But that's part of it. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I personally am glad for everything I've gone through, because it's brought me to where I am today and made me who I am today. And it took me a while to be able to see that, but, like, I mean, it only could have gone this way. If it wouldn't have gone this way, I wouldn't be this person. And I like who I am. I didn't always, but I do now. So I wouldn't change that for the world. But I spread positivity. Even if you don't feel positive, it's good, and it'll make you feel better. But if you are negative and you do need help, talk. I mean, I feel like even that in itself is a positive thing. Even just talking about your problems is a positive thing, because you're reaching out and connecting to another human. Obviously, there are places and times and forms you can do this, and YouTube is kind of a limited one in that. You don't, like Phil said, you don't really want to, talk about your problems a lot on this forum, because it seems like once a month and that's all you get. I don't know if that's true. I think it probably depends on the community you have in front of you and so on and so forth, although I suppose that changes once you get super big, because it tends to be sort of the same community across most of the big channels. I would imagine, I mean, I'm not entirely sure, but I would imagine it's damn near the same people. Maybe you do only get once a month, but the internet's not the greatest place to talk about your problems anyway. I feel like the internet makes us dissociated as is. Kind of puts us into a third-party viewing of our lives from a subjective viewpoint, and I think that can be beneficial at times, but everything in moderation, and it's not, and I think that's created a mass dissociation in this current generation. However, our generation is good at thinking globally, while the previous generation struggles with thinking globally, great at thinking locally, interacting on a one-to-one level. We aren't. God, I could talk about that for a while too. Well, before I get off on that tangent, that's really all I have to say about the faking positive thing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And as always, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. As always, yeah, I'm still going to say it, never forget to smile. And I will see all of your beautiful faces, even if they're sad. Later.